The Gospel of Nicodemus, Part 1, formerly called the Act of Pontius Pilate. The Acts of Pontius Pilate. Although this Gospel, by some among the learned, supposed to have been really written by Nicodemus, who became a disciple of Jesus Christ and conversed with him, others conjecture that it was a forgery towards the close of the 3rd century, around 222, by some zealous believer who, observing that there had been appeals made by the Christians of the former age to the Acts of Pilate, he changed it. But that such acts could not be produced, imagined it would be of service to Christians to fabricate and publish this gospel, as it would both confirm the Christians under persecution and convince the heathens of the truth of the Christian religion. The Reverend Jeremiah Jones says that such pious frauds were very common among Christians, even in the very first 3rd centuries, and that a forgery of this nature, with the view above mentioned, seems natural and probable. The same author, in noticing that Eusebius, in his ecclesiastical history, charges the pagans with having forged and published a book called the Acts of Pilate. But we know from yesterday that, the hippopotamus there takes occasions to observe that the internal evidence of this gospel shows that it was not the work of any heathen, but that if in the latter end of the 3rd century we find it in use among Christians, as it was then certainly in some churches, and about the same time find a forgery of the heathens under the same title, it seems exceedingly probable that some Christians at the time should publish such a piece as this in order to, partly to confirm the spurious one of the pagans, and partly to support those appeals which have been made by the former Christians to the Act of Pilate. And Mr. Jones says he thinks so more particularly as we have innumerable instances of forgeries by the faithful in the primitive ages, grounded on less plausible reasons. Whether it be canonical or not, it is of very great antiquity, and is appealed to by several of the ancient Christians, and the previous translation is made from the Gospel published by blah, 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 blah. Anyway, read it for yourself. The Gospel of Nicodemus, the disciple, concerning the sufferings and resurrection of our Master and Savior, Jesus Christ. Christ accused to Pilate by the Jews of healing on the Sabbath. That's what they accused him of. Summoned before Pilate by a messenger who does him honor. Worshipped by the standards, bowing down to him. I told you about that, right? Anyways, maybe he'll tell us. Annas and Caiaphas and Summus and Datum, like data, but Datum, Gamaliel, Judas, Levi, Nephthalim, Alexander, Cyrus, and other Jews. Can you see it? All right. Went to Pilate about Jesus, accusing him with many bad crimes, and said, "We are assured that Jesus is the son of Joseph the carpenter, land born of Mary, and that he declares himself the Son of God and a king. And not only so, but attempts the dissolution of the Sabbath and the laws of our fathers." Pilate replied, "What is it which he declares? And what is it which he attempts dissolving?" The Jews told him, "We have a law which forbids doing cures on the Sabbath day. But he cures both the lame and the deaf, those afflicted with the palsy, the blind, the lepers, the demonics, the demon-possessed. All that on that day, by wicked methods. So Pilate replies, how can he do this? By wicked methods. They answered, he is a conjurer and casts out demons, devils, by the prince of the devils. He casts out devils by the prince of the devils. And so all things become subject to him. Then Pilate said, casting out devils seems not to be the work of an unclean spirit, but to proceed from the power of God. Wow. And the Jews replied to Pilate, we entreat your highness to summon him to appear before your tribunal and hear him yourself. Then Pilate called a messenger and said, by what means will Christ be brought hither? Then went the messenger forth, and knowing Christ, worshipped him. The messenger, knowing Christ, worshipped him, and having spread the cloak which he had in his hand upon the ground, he said, Lord, walk upon this, and go in, for the governor calls thee. Then the Jews perceived what the messenger had done. They exclaimed against him to Pilate and said, why did you not give him his summons by a beetle-headed, and not by a messenger? For the messenger, when he saw him, worshipped him, and spread the cloak which he had in his hand upon the ground before him. And he said, Lord, the governor calls thee. Then Pilate calls the messenger, come here. Why hast thou done this? The messenger replied, when thou sentest me from Jerusalem to Alexander, I saw Jesus sitting in a mean figure upon a she-ass. And the children of the Hebrews cried out, Hosanna, Hosanna, holding up boughs of trees in their hands. Others spread their garments in the way and said, Save us, thou art in heaven, Lord, thou who art in heaven, they were saying. Blessed is he who cometh in the name of the Lord. Yeah, that's what happened. So, yeah, that's what I said. Then the Jews cried out against the messenger and said, the children of the Hebrews made their acclamations in the Hebrew language. And how couldst thou, who art Greek, understand the Hebrew? The messenger answered them and said, I asked one of the Hebrews. I asked one of the Jews and said, what is this which the children do cry out in the Hebrew language? I asked somebody, what? And he explained it to me, saying, they cried out, Hosanna, which being interpreted is, O Lord, save me, or O Lord, save. Oh, okay. Pilate then said to them, why do you yourselves testify to the words spoken by the children, namely by your silence, in that and what has the messenger done amiss? Like, what did he do wrong? And they were silent. Then the governor said unto the messenger, go forth and endeavor by any means to bring him in. Please, let's just move on. But the messenger went forth and did as before and said, Lord, come in, for the governor calleth thee. Like, I didn't do anything wrong. What? Pilate said I didn't do anything wrong. I'm going to do it again. What? And as Jesus was going in by the ENSIGNS, and signs, meaning who were carrying the standard, the ensigns were the ones who were carrying the standard, that Roman standard. The tops of them bow down. Now, if you ever look at a Roman standard, you see it's a big-ass eagle on top. It's like a big flagpole with a big eagle sculpture on top. The eagles, the tops, they bent down, bow down, and worship Jesus. Yes, people, made of brass. Whereupon the Jews exclaimed more vehemently against the ensigns. They were just besides themselves. But Pilate said to the Jews, hey, I know it is not pleasing to you that the tops of the standards did of themselves bow and worship Jesus. Yeah, I know you're shocked. But why do ye exclaim against the ensigns? As if they had bowed and worshipped. Like, why do you have a problem with the men holding the standard if it's the standard that bowed down? They replied to Pilate, we saw the ensigns themselves bowing and worshiping Jesus. You didn't see what we saw. Then the governor called the ensigns and said, okay, right? All right. Why did you do thus? The ensigns said to Pilate, we are all pagans and worship the gods in temples. And how should we think anything about worshiping this guy, him? We only held the standards in our hands, and we bowed them, and they bowed themselves and worshipped him. We're pagans. We're atheists. We don't. Hello. Then said Pilate to the rulers of the synagogue, do ye yourselves choose some strong men and let them hold the standards, and we shall see whether they will then bend themselves. Let's see it for ourselves. Come on. Scientific method. So the elders of the Jews sought out 12 of the most strong and able old men and made them hold the standards, and they stood in the presence of the governor. All right. Then Jesus said to the messenger, take Jesus out, and by some means bring him in again. And Jesus and the messenger went out of the hall. Pause. Then Pilate said to the messenger, take Jesus out, and by some means bring him in again. And Jesus and the messenger went out of the hall. And Pilate called the ensigns who before had borne the standards, and swore to them that if they had not borne the standards in that manner when Jesus was before entered in, he would cut off their heads. Yeah. Then, when the governor commanded Jesus to come in again, and the messenger did as he had done before, and very much entreated Jesus that he would go upon his cloak and walk on it, and he did walk on it and went in. And when Jesus went in, the standards bowed themselves as before and worshipped him. Continuing Nicodemus' account in Acts of Pilate, chapter 2. Two people, by the compassion of Pilate's wife, is compassionated. 7 charged with being born in fornication, and 12 testimony to the betrothing of his parents. and hatred of the Jews to him. All right. Now, when Pilate saw this, he was afraid, and he was about to raise from his seat. But while he thought to raise, his own wife, who stood at a distance, sent to him, saying, "Have thou nothing to do with this just man? For I have suffered much concerning him in a vision. This night he was in my dreams." That's all. When the Jews heard this, they said to Pilate, "Did we not say unto thee, he is a conjurer? Behold, he hath caused your wife to dream." Pilate then, calling Jesus, said, "Thou hast heard what they testify against thee, and makest no answer?" You got nothing to say? Jesus replied, "If they had not a power of speaking, they could not have spoke. But because everyone has the command of his own tongue," Jesus saying this, "to speak both good and bad, let him look to it." Let him look to it. Oh, but the elders of the Jews answered and said to Jesus, "What shall we look to?" In the first place, we know this concerning thee, that thou was born through fornication. He's calling him a bastard. Secondly, that upon the account of thy birth, the infants were slain in Bethlehem. It was because everybody had to die. Thirdly, that thy father and thy mother, Mary, fled into Egypt because they could not trust their own people. They betrayers. Some of the Jews who stood by spake more favorably. Some of the Jews said, "We cannot say that he was born through fornication." How would we know? But we know that his mother Mary was betrothed to Joseph, and so he was not born through fornication. What are you saying? Then Pilate said to the Jews who affirmed him to be born through fornication, they doubled down, "This your account is not true, seeing there was a betrothment, as they testify, who are of your own nation."
That's how you know, like they up to something. They plotting something.
So Annas and Caiaphas spake to Pilate, "All this multitude of people is to be regarded, who cry out that he was born through fornication and is a conjurer. But they who deny him to be born through fornication are his proselytes and disciples." Yeah, you lying for him. Is that what he's saying? Pilate answered Annas and Caiaphas. All right, Pilate said, "Who are the proselytes?" What's with these big words? They answered, "They are those who are the children of the pagans." Okay. "And are not become Jews." They're pagans, but followers of him. Then replied Eleazar and Asturias and Antonius and James and Carus and Samuel, Isaac, Phineas, Crispus, Agrippa, Annas, and Judas, we are not postulates, but are children of Jews, and speak the truth. We were present when Mary was betrothed. Hello, we're not that old. She ain't that old. Then Pilate addressing himself to the 12 men who spake thus. Oh, alright, okay. This is what Pilate said. I conjure you by the life of Caesar that ye faithfully declare whether he was born through fornication, and those things are true which ye have related. Ah, you swear, penalty of perjury, sure. I conjure you. They answered Pilate, we have a law whereby we are forbid to swear, it being a sin. Let them swear by the life of Caesar that it is not as we have said. Let them swear. We have a law. We're not. We don't say. And we will be contented to be put to death. You know what? I'll even put my life on the line. I'll put that on the line. Then said Ananias and Caiaphas to Pilate, those 12 men will not believe that we know him to be basely born and to be a conjurer, although he pretends that he is the Son of God and a king, which we are so far from believing that we tremble to hear it. Then Pilate commanded everyone to go out except the 12 men who said he was not born through fornication, and Jesus to withdraw to a distance, and said to them, why have the Jews a mind to kill Jesus? Why? They answered him, they are angry because he wrought cures on the Sabbath day. Pilate said, will they kill him for good work? They said unto him, yes, sir. Okay, then.
That's why Pilate said, something's up.
Something's up.
Y'all up to something no good. And y'all making me doing it.
Okay. Chapter 3. 1 is exonerated by Pilate. 11 disputes with Pilate concerning truth. All right. Then Pilate, filled with anger, went out to the hall and said to the Jews, I call the whole world to witness what I find, that I find no fault in that man.
That's why you love him. Did yes.
The Jews had something to say about that. The Jews replied to Pilate, if he had not been a wicked person, we had not brought him before thee. Pilate said to them, do ye take him and try him by your law? Do you? The Jews said, it's not lawful for us to put anyone to death. Pilate said to the Jews, the command, therefore, thou shalt not kill, belongs to you, but not to me. That's what you're saying. You don't have to, excuse me? What are you trying to say? And he went again into the hall and called Jesus by himself and said to him, art thou the King of the Jews. Come on, help me out here a little.
Pilate, like, my wife called this man a just man. And this Jew was so eagerly to tell me to kill this just man. I find nothing wrong with this man. But they keep saying that this man is doing wrong. But I find nothing wrong with this man. But yet they want me to kill this just man. So he goes, just man had to be for something like
right.
holy, oh God, right?
Just right.
So he's thinking in his mind, if you want me to kill this man, does that mean you trying to brought the curse up on us? Like what you
want him killed, but you don't want to kill him yourself. What's going on
right,
here?
like what's your motive? Is this something dangerous?
You're setting me up for something, dude.
Yeah,
I smell something stinky here. Something's afoot.
Go on, you're doing good. You're doing real good. Now go back and watch AD movie, and you're like, oh man, I see you.
Right? I'm gonna. These are little pieces like everywhere, right? This is what a detective does. They go and read everything. Pilate says to the Jews, "The command, therefore, thou shalt not kill belongs to you, but not to me." Okay. And he went out again to the hall, and he called Jesus by himself, and said to him, "Art thou the King of the Jews?" And Jesus answering said to Pilate, "Dost thou speak this of thyself? Or did the Jews tell it thee concerning me?" Pilate answering said, "Am I a Jew? The whole nation and rulers of the Jews have delivered thee up to me. What hast thou done?" Like, what you do? What happened? Jesus answering said,
You do not see. And some wise men.
Jesus answering said, "My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, then would my servants fight, and I should not have been delivered to the Jews. But now my kingdom is not from hence. But now my kingdom is not from hence." Pilate said, "Art thou a king then?" Jesus answered, "Thou sayest that I am a king. To this end was I born. And for this end came I into the world, and for this purpose
Way over his head.
I came, that I should bear witness to the truth. And everyone who is of the truth
On the side of truth.
heareth my voice." I don't know why other people aren't hearing me. I don't know. Pilate said to him, "What is truth? Can you just answer my question?" Jesus said, "All right. Are you ready? Fine. Truth is from heaven." Pilate said, "Therefore, truth is not on earth." Not on earth. Jesus said to Pilate, "Believe that truth is on earth among those who, when they have the power of judgment, are governed by truth and form right judgment."
Caesar's talking to Pilate right there. That's why he didn't know what to do. The God of judgment, right? Your God is judgment, but
End scene.
But you don't know who is your God. You know that exists, and it led you to rule all over, including Egypt. Isn't that the same thing? What happened to Babylon? That the other nation rose up, and the prophet warned. Is it Nimrod? Warned them, like, look, man, the way you going right now, look, they're about to come and attack you right now. And and he don't believe, and so there you go. But Babylon fell. Same thing with the Roman. Same thing with the Jews. They didn't listen, so then God allowed the Roman to rule because they are more just. I told you to rule, but you don't know how to rule. You keep wanting to rule it your way. You can't help it, but you want to rule it your way. Okay, well, these guys right here, I mean, you're all in the same basket, but at least these guys, their God or their system.
Hey, judge for yourself. Read the story. What's up?
Right.
Yep. That's what I'm seeing. I don't know about you. Anyways, all right, next chapter. Gotta get through this. All right, I think I'm getting the rhythm of this. This is a scoreboard right now. 1, Pilate finds no fault in Jesus. Again, 16, Jews demanding his crucifixion. There's a scoreboard. Got it? 1 to 16. I'm getting the hang of this. Page 6. Then Pilate left Jesus in the hall and went out to the Jews and said, I find not anyone fault in Jesus. The Jews said unto him, but he said, I can destroy the temple of God, and in 3 days build it up again. Pilate said unto them, what sort of temple is that of which he speaketh? Like, what? Oh, what are you talking? Okay, first of all, what?
We can't do that. We're Romans. So what are you talking about? What the hell? That doesn't make any sense.
Herod the Great? Anybody? Anyways.
Can you imagine talking to an atheist? Talking to the atheist. The atheists believe in justice and fairness. They do believe that. So can you imagine talking to an atheist that this guy, he's so powerful, he's going to destroy the temple? Like, are y'all stupid? Then no wonder we rule your ass, because y'all believe in this hocus pocus stuff. That don't make sense to them. Like, I mean, we okay why you want religion. Yeah, y'all should have religion. As long as y'all keep shit peace and quiet and let me do my job, we're cool. And like, they're like, this is nonsense. This frail man that I just whipped, look, he's all like, you see, I reprimanded him already. See, look, how is he going to destroy any temple? What are you talking about? And Jesus like, yeah, this is going according to plan.
All right, let's move on. According to plan. Father says, what sort of temple is that of which he speaketh? The Jews said unto him, that which Solomon was 46 years in building. He said he would destroy in 3 days, build up, and in 3 days build up. Pilate said unto them again, I am innocent from the blood of that man. Do ye look to it? Do you see me? The Jews said to him, his blood be upon us and our children.
Oh my God. And you wonder what happened to you with the Holocaust? Oh.
Then Pilate, calling together the elders and the scribes, priests and Levites, saith to them privately, do not act thus. I have found nothing in your charge against him concerning his curing sick persons and breaking the Sabbath worthy of death. No, I don't. The priests and the Levites replied to Pilate, by the life of Caesar. Oh, if anyone be a blasphemer by the life of Caesar, he is worthy of death. But this man has blasphemed against the Lord. So you're okay. Then the governor again commanded the Jews to depart out of the hall, and calling Jesus said to him, what shall I do with thee? What shall I do with thee?
Yeah, what shall I do with you?
Jesus! Jesus answered him, do according as it is written. Wow.
He's attacking their God, and you will know.
Is that not what he said to the devil 3 times? It is written! For it is written.
He's an accuser, right? So if he's an accuser, obviously he knows the law. So if you know the law, why don't you look at what's written? But
Jesus, I love Pilate. I'm loving Pilate. Watch what he says. Pilate says, how is it written? I love Pilate. Jesus said unto him, Moses and the prophets have prophesied concerning my suffering and resurrection. I know you don't know. Let me tell you something. The Jews, hearing this, were provoked and said to Pilate, why wilt thou any longer hear the blaspheming of that man? Shut up! Shh. Poor street preachers. That's what I was saying for. Anyways, Pilate said unto them, if these words seem to you blasphemy, do ye take him? Bring him to your court and try him according to your law. Okay? You're in my house right now. You're in Rome. Do as Romans do. Shh. The Jews replied to Pilate, our law saith, he shall be obliged to receive 9 and 30 stripes. But if after this manner he shall blaspheme against the Lord, after this manner he shall be stoned. Pilate said unto them, if that speech of his was blasphemy, do ye try him according to your law? Do it. The Jews said to Pilate, our law commands us not to put anyone to death. We desire that he may be crucified. Yeah, we want crucified. Because he deserves the death of the cross. Wow. They specifically asked, our law commands us to put anyone to death. The law says that, but we desire that he may be crucified. You want it. Come on, Moses, stop smacking the rock. Because he deserves the death of the cross. It's so bad, he deserves the death of the cross. Come on.
We desire to build a tall building that connected to all the way to heaven, and then we're going to kill him, and we're going to take over his throne, and then we're going to rule over his throne. So we're going to build all this arrow, and we're going to shoot it in the sky, and we're going to hit them. Impeach.
Pilate said to them,
Lord said, I will fool them all. I will fool them all. Watch me and I will fool them all.
Pilate said to them, it is not fit he should be crucified. Alright, Pilate is saying, it is not fit, something's wrong with y'all, that he should be crucified. Let him only be whipped and sent away. Why are you guys so bloodthirsty? Because he's never heard of any of this books and words and stories of. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about, but I don't see that this guy deserves being taken on the cross. This is a man who puts people on the cross like without blinking. This is Pilate we're talking about. Pilate said to them, it is not fit he should be crucified. Let him be only whipped and sent away. But when the governor looked upon the people that were present and the Jews, he saw many of the Jews in tears, and said to the chief priest of the Jews, all people do not desire his death. Hey, wait a minute. I can look. The elders of the Jews answered to Pilate, we and all the people came hither for this very purpose, that he should die. What is wrong with these people? Pilate said to them, why should he die? They said to him, because he declares himself to be the Son of God. And a king. Son of God and a king. Chapter 5. Alright, what's the scoreboard? 1, Nicodemus, speaks in defense of Christ and relates his miracles. Wow, we finally get to hear from Nicodemus. Woohoo! Alright, 12 are what are considered another Jew. Okay? 26 are with Veronica. Ooh. 34 are with Centurio and others. Testify of other miracles. But Nicodemus, a certain Jew, stood before the governor and said, I entreat, he's using that big word, entreat thee, O righteous judge. He calls him righteous. That thou wouldest favor me with the liberty of speaking a few words. Liberty. Be at liberty. Pilate said unto him, speak on. Nicodemus said, I spake to the elders of the Jews and the scribes and the priests and Levites and all the multitude of the Jews were covered in their assembly. What is it ye would do with this man? He is a man who hath wrought many useful and glorious miracles, such as no man on earth ever wrought before, nor will ever work. Let him go, and do him no harm. If he cometh from God, his miracle, his miraculous cures will continue. But if from men, they will come to naught. Thus Moses, when he was sent by God into Egypt, wrought the miracles which God commanded him before Pharaoh, king of Egypt.
Oh, you know that story.
And through the magicians of that country, Jannes and Jambres, wrought by their magic the same miracles which Moses did, yet they could not work all which he did. And the miracles that the magicians wrought were not of God, as ye know. O scribes and Pharisees, But they who wrought them perished, you see. And all who believed them perished, you see. And now let this man go, because the very miracles from which ye accuse him are from God, and he is not worthy of death. Thus said Nicodemus. The Jews then said to Nicodemus, Art thou become his disciple, and making speeches in his favor? Your turncoat? Nicodemus said to them, Is the governor become his disciple also? Huh? And does he make speeches for him? He's saying, I'm just saying what he's saying. Did not Caesar's place him in that high post? When the Jews heard this, they trembled, a gnashing of teeth at Nicodemus. Mayest thou receive his doctrine for truth, and have thou lot with Christ? Yeah. Nicodemus replied, Amen. I will receive his doctrine, and my lot with him, as ye have said. Woo-hoo! Nicodemus making a comeback. Nice. Then another certain Jew rose up and desired leave of the governor to hear him a few words. And the governor said, Speak with what thou hast in mind. And he said, I lay for 38 years by the sheep pool in Jerusalem, laboring under a great infirmity, and waiting for a cure which should be wrought by the coming of an angel. Oh, this is the guy by the Bethesda pool, who at a certain time troubled the water, and whosoever first, after the troubling of the waters, stepped in, was made whole of whatsoever disease he had. And when Jesus saw me languishing there, he said to me, Wilt thou be made whole? That's all he said to me. And I answered, Sir, I have no man when the water is troubled to put me into the pool. Are you going to do it? No? And he said unto me, Rise, take up thy bed and walk. And I was immediately made whole. And I took up my bed and I walked. And the Jews said to Pilate, Our Lord Governor, pray, ask him what day it was on, which he was cured of his infirmity. Seriously, after that touching story, that's all you gotta say. Alright, whatever.
Because people don't know what day. That's their shit.
Let's make a big deal out of it. Alright, come on. The infirm person replied, It was on the Sabbath day. I found the true Sabbath. I was scared. Are you hearing me? You stupid people. 30, how many years? I can't even count them. It was so freaking long. The Jews said to Pilate, Did we not say that he wrought his cures on the Sabbath? And cast out devils by the prince of devils? See? Proved our point. Yeah. Then another certain Jew came forth. There's more. It's like, what's this, Patch Adams movie? Remember at the end all of them came in? Even the guy who hated him? And said, I was blind. Are you hearing me? Could hear sounds, but could not see anyone. And as Jesus was coming along, I heard the multitude passing by, and I asked, What was there? They told me that Jesus was passing by. Then I cried and said, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. And he stood still and commanded that I should be brought to him, and said to me, what wilt thou? Oh, I said, Lord, that I may receive my sight. And he said to me, receive thy sight. And presently I saw, and I followed him, rejoicing and giving thanks. And another Jew also came forth, and he couldn't hold himself. I was a leper, and he cured me, and by his word only, saying, I will be thou clean. 5 words. And I presently was cleaned from my leprosy. And another Jew came up and said, I was crooked, and he made me straight by his word. And another certain woman, Veronica, hi, I was afflicted with an issue of blood for like 12 years. And I touched just the hem of his garment, and presently the issue of my blood stopped. The Jews then said, we have a law that a woman shall not be allowed as an evidence. Objection. Sorry, no woman allowed. Oh, sorry, I don't care if you were cured. I don't care. Oh, God. No wonder they keep smacking their head on the brick wall. The Jews said, we have a law that a woman shall not be allowed as an evidence. And after other things, another Jew said, I saw Jesus invited to a wedding with his disciples, and there was a want of wine in Cana of Galilee. And when the wine was all drunk, he commanded the servants that they should fill 6 pots, which were there with water, and they filled them up to the brim. And he blessed them and turned the water into wine. And all the people drank, being surprised at this miracle. And another Jew stood forth and said, I saw Jesus teaching at the synagogue in Capernaum. And there was in the synagogue a certain man. He had a devil in him. Oh, and he cried out, saying, let me alone! What have we to do with thee, Jesus? And art thou come to destroy us? And I know that thou art the Holy One of God. Like, he was nuts. And Jesus rebuked him, saying, hold thy peace, unclean spirit, and come out of the man. And presently he came out of her, and did not at all hurt him. He wasn't hurt. The following things were also said by a Pharisee. Here comes a Pharisee. I saw that a great company came to Jesus from Galilee and Judea and the sea coast and many countries about Jordan. And many infirm persons came to him, and he healed them all. Like, he didn't. Oh, I don't care who. What? Don't. And I heard the unclean spirits crying out and saying, thou art the Son of God. I mean, the devils, the unclean spirits were shouting it out. And Jesus strictly charged them that they should not make him known. After this, another person whose name was Centurio, oh, this is Roman coming up, said, I saw Jesus in Capernaum, and I entreated him, saying, Lord, My servant lieth at home, sick of the palsy. And Jesus said to me, I will come and cure him. But I said, Lord, I am not worthy that thou shouldest come under my roof, but only say the word, and my servant shall be healed. And Jesus said unto me, Go thy way, and as thou hast believed, so be it done unto thee. And my servant was healed from that same hour. And a certain nobleman said, I had a son in Capernaum who lay at the point of death. And when I had heard that Jesus was come to Galilee, I went and besought him that he would come down to my house and heal my son, for he was at the point of death. He said to me, Go thy way, thy son liveth. And my son was cured from that hour. Besides these, also many others of the Jews, both men and women, cried out and said, He is truly the Son of God, who cures all diseases only by his word, and to whom the devils are altogether subject. Some of them further said, This power can proceed from none but God. All right. Pilate, after all this, said to the Jews, Why are not the devils subject to your doctors? Jews? One of them, named Seine, S-E-I-N-E, said, The power of subjecting devils cannot proceed but from God. What? But others said to Pilate that he had raised Lazarus from the dead after he had been 4 days in his grave. Well, ain't that interesting? The governor, hearing this, trembling, said to the multitude of Jews, What will it profit you to shed innocent blood? What are you doing? Chapter 6. All right, people. That was a mighty chapter, wasn't it? All right. Scoreboard 1. Pilate dismayed by the turbulence of the Jews. Oh, yeah. 5. Who demand Barabbas to be released. 5, huh? And Christ to be crucified. So 5 voting for Barabbas. 1, Pilate is perturbed and disturbed. And 9, Pilate warmly expostulates with them. Okay. 20, washes his hands of Christ's blood. 23, and sentences him to be whipped and crucified. Okay, I don't understand any of Maybe they're just verse numbers. I don't understand these numbers. Whatever. I think they're just, you know what? They're probably a little table of contents or something like that. Whatever. Then Pilate, having called together Nicodemus and the 15 men who said that Jesus was not born through fornication, said to them, "What shall I do, seeing there is like to be a tumult among the people?" He's asking Nicodemus and the 15 men who said that Jesus is not born. So the 15 men and Nicodemus who are on Jesus' side, he's asking them, what shall I do, seeing there is like to be a tumult, like it's going to be a uprising, right? Like it's going to be crazy. What like we're looking at today, right? Riot. Peaceful protest. They said to him, we know not. I don't know. Let them look to it who raised the tumult. But whoever's raising the tumult, ask them. I don't know. Pilate then called the multitude again and said to them, you gotta love this guy. He's like, okay, let's do it. Ye know that ye have a custom. You know that you have a custom that I should release to you one prisoner at the feast of the Passover. You know what? I found a loophole. I have a noted prisoner, in fact, a murderer. Nobody should be against this. I mean, come on, people. He's a murderer. All right? A notorious prisoner, okay?
I love how they try to say till today they still trying to lie about it, like it was the Roman that did all this shit. It wasn't them. I'm like, dude, man, look at how it's written. This is like, screw. Like, you don't deny there was a Barabbas and then there was a Jesus, and y'all voted for a murderer and condemned the innocent. He showed there, fall by the letter and broke the heart of the law. Right there. You want to see clearly? That was the trial. That it's funny how the God of justice that the Romans are serving. It's funny how when God does come, that God that they serve came to them, but they break away at the moment of justice when they face actual injustice, and the scenario is putting the God of justice. It's so poetic, man. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, he came and they recognized him not. It's not just the Jews. You know, the God of justice that they serving, they looking for that perfect justice. And when the guy that made that perfect justice came, they didn't recognize him not, and they actually stray away. They string away with what they believe as justice. So it's very interesting, you know, how it's so funny how the guy that they serve justice ended up being the one that killed Jesus, condemning Jesus. So it's almost like the Father is justice, and the Father don't want to, but this is what he has to do. Yep. Can't see it. He can't see it.
All right. Back to the murderer. I have a noted prisoner, a murderer, who is called Barabbas. Barabbas, not Barabbas. Barabbas. And Jesus, who is called Christ, in whom I find nothing that deserves death. Which of them, therefore, have you a mind that I should release to you? Right? They told him, ask the masses. So, who, okay, he said, go, right? He's doing what they told him to do. Go ask the people who's going to be rioting. All right? Are you going to riot? Let me give them you the decision. How about that? Well, you're not going to riot if I give you the decision, right? That's what I'm hearing. Oh, they all cry out and say, release to us Barabbas! Pilate said to them, what then shall I do with Jesus, who is called Christ? Hello? Don't you recognize this word, Christ? No? Okay. They all answered, "Let him be crucified!" Again, they cried out and said to Pilate, "You are not the friend of Caesar, if you release this man. For he hath declared that he is the Son of God and a king. But you are inclined that he should be king and not Caesar." Oh, put him in a pickle, didn't he?
They already know it. That's the hammer they've been praying on.
Clincher.
See, Pilate should have stuck to his word. Like, you know how Pilate did from the beginning? He did it right.
Would you be pissed if you were Pilate right now, what would you be feeling?
I'd be scared for my job. I'd be scared for my head.
Would you be angry?
I'm scared.
You're scared, right? You're scared, angry, scangry. Then Pilate, filled with anger, said to them, "Your nation hath always been seditious, and you are always those who have been serviceable to you." He said, "Your nation hath always been seditious, and you are always against."
What's seditious?
Those who have been serviceable to you. Just a bad heart, okay? Unappreciative.
He's talking about, all the crime and stuff that is going on in your city. We're here trying to help y'all, but then y'all think of us as all right, yeah. It's so much work. It's like complaining about police, defunding police.
Recap the story in your head. I mean, what do you think of them so far? You know what I mean? The Jews replied, Who are those who have been servable to us? Right there, look at that.
Defunding police.
Pilate answered them, Your God, who delivered you from the hard bondage of the Egyptians and brought you over the Red Sea as though it had been on dry land and fed you in the wilderness with manna. Don't think I'm stupid. In the flesh of quails, and brought water out of the rock and gave you a law from heaven.
Oh shit, they stunned. Oh shit, Pilate knows shit.
Oh, I know shit. Oh, are you surprised? I know.
A little bit. I don't know that much.
Whoa, man, down, Pilate. He's my new hero.
You know history.
I love Pilate. I'm so Pilate right now. Ye provoked him always and desired for yourself a molten calf. And worshipped it, don't think I don't know, and sacrificed to it, and said, These are thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt. On account of which your God is inclined to destroy you. But Moses interceded for you, and your God heard him and forgave your iniquity. Afterwards ye were enraged against and would have killed your prophets, Moses and Aaron, when they fled to the tabernacle. Oh yeah, you didn't know that. And ye were always murmuring against God and his prophets, and rising from his judgment seat. He would have gone out, but the Jews all cried out. Sorry, I got excited. This thing is hard. I'll say, okay, so the last thing he said was, afterwards ye were enraged against and would have killed your prophets, Aaron and Moses, when they fled to the tabernacle. They fled, and ye were always murmuring against. Right, have you ever read The Last of Moses? He's like, I'm done with y'all, bye. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna just die. I'd rather die than go with y'all. So sick of y'all. They fled away. So Pilate, arising from his judgment seat, he would have gone out, but the Jews all cried out, We acknowledge Caesar to be king and not Jesus. Whereas this person, as soon as he was born, the wise men came and offered gifts unto him, which when Herod heard, he was exceedingly troubled, and would have killed him. When his father knew this, he fled with him and his mother into Egypt. Herod, when he heard he was born, would have slain him, and accordingly sent and slew all the children which were born in Bethlehem, and in all the coasts thereof, from 2 years old and under. When Pilate heard this account, he was afraid.
Then why would a king want to go through all that shit? And now you telling me to kill this man? Like he's trying to...
He's afraid of killing Jesus. I was like, what's he afraid of?
Then why you keep, like, they keep pursuing? It's, you know what I mean? Like, who no Jew does this.
This
is
not
another Jew.
Normal.
He knows that that's not in their culture to go turn on their brother. But like this one, what? Like what? Like what's going on?
Twilight Zone.
Like matter of fact, you lie to each other to cover your ass.
Yeah, like
what the heck is going on?
Really? All right.
I'm scared. It's like over his head. Like this is, you know what I mean? But if he had just stood on his things, like y'all need to shut up, go back home. This is the ruling. I find nothing. You want to do it? You go judge him, but he's free to go. But Jesus was definitely doing this, provoking him so that he has to do it.
When Pilate heard this account, he was afraid, and commanding silence among the people. Silence!
Because he was afraid. That's why he was angry. Men, we don't like to be afraid. We don't like to... Even when we're afraid, we're going to hide it. We're not going to let you see that we're afraid. Unless the person who you trust. Then you can have scared. But he can't. He's Pilate. He cannot be scared. He wouldn't be worthy to rule. They wouldn't put him in that seat anyway. Because he's vicious and he sticks to justice, but he broke. He did, but then he broke.
This reminds me of persons of interest. At the very last episode, season finale, and he's like shot, and he's like on the rooftop, and he's just like laying there, and he's talking to the, or was it no, sorry. It's the point where he was going to break. Right? He was in prison, right? And he was talking to he was being interviewed by the cops. He finally got caught, right? And he was saying something about, I'm trying to see, like she was trying to think, to see what he was thinking. He was like, no, I'm talking to myself. I'm trying to convince myself how many of my own rules am I willing to break to conquer, to defeat you? Because he is the creator of the machine. He knows he can do it. But he's breaking his own rules to do it.
Who are you talking about, guys?
The machine, like in the show, Persons of Interest. The glasses guy. I'm sorry. Yes, Persons of Interest with Joe Gavizio. Okay, computer science guy creating the machine, right? And he has all the power. And right, there's this other machine that's battling that other people copycatted, kind of created, you know. And he's like, dude, I could like that. I'm trying to talk myself out of it, don't you understand?
Yeah, Northern Light versus Samaritan.
right?
Was it the program called Samaritan?
The machine, some Northern Lights was something like that.
Northern Light was created by
right, and then Samaritan was the other one. No, Samaritan was the bad. Well, it wasn't bad. It was just.
I do want to buy that show.
I really want to see it again.
Like, is it worth buying?
Yeah, I would definitely.
Yeah,
if I can't watch it anywhere else, I would buy it because it's pretty good. I sometimes think that that story might be like
movie that pertain to where we're going.
Yeah, because
you know what I mean.
I'm telling you,
like
Continuum,
like the box, which has nothing to do with Bible, but it's a good example to see how the
Rome for Catholics, Roman Catholic. It's a reason why they call it Roman Catholic. It's 2 words. Why am I wasting my breath if it's not important? I could just say Catholic, but no, it's Roman Catholic. Okay. Why? What does that even mean? Did you know that schools' curriculums are not governed by anybody? Like, they're practically self-accredited. You look into accreditation. You'll be shocked. Anyways.
The reason why America is successful is because they model after Rome and Egypt, and if you study the Masonic orders, right? If you look at videos of like the Masonic order, how if you look at the dollar, they have eagles. That Nazis use that, the Romans use that, the Centurion used that. Eagles, and they look at the eagle and they say, "This is the new land, and here I am doing the gold rush. Look at these land," and they go, "Look at these eagles! They just catch them out of the sky."
But you know what's the difference?
So then they chose the eagle as the icon because they go, well, the Roman had the icon of an eagle, the Centurion had the icon of an eagle. Even the Indian talk about the spirit of the high, whatever the hell. So they study and they see the trend, right? Yeah, they see that's how you rule.
I have a lot more appreciation for symbolism now. Because before we learn to read, we learn to look at pictures. And that's why I want her to look at this children's Bible I got her. Every page is a picture. Look at that. Every single page is a picture. I don't have to read or anything. I'm just waiting for her to look at it. She'll probably look at it when I look at it with her. But you know what I'm saying? We don't have to be taught to watch a movie. We don't look at her. She's like, look, kids are on these phones like 24/7. They don't need to be taught. But they need to be forced to read a book. Like, is that not normal? Did you know that look into the origins of glasses and optometry. They did a study on the Eskimos. Before, no Eskimo needed glasses. After they instituted schools, immediately the next year, 20% needed glasses. Have you ever seen a lawyer with no glasses? Very rare. They have to read so much.
You know, as far as I can remember back to when I was little, I would love books. The only books my dad had was not in Vietnamese or English, but he hid that stuff, like, in the attic, and I'm looking at all this book.
Commies.
Yeah, and
book burnings, suppression.
And, and
my grandmother.
I know how to read Vietnamese when I was already in 2nd grade. Mm-hmm. I know how to read already.
Wow.
Yes, like Vietnamese, and the way they teach is everything memorized. Mm-hmm. Like in paragraph, like short story, you literally have to remember every word.
Yeah, I still remember the poems. I remember when I memorized as a child.
Yeah.
It's harder for me to memorize stuff now.
But I remember as soon as I know how to read, I remember I was being really sick and I was in the hospital for a long time, and I saw other kids, the parent would buy them comics. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, they're reading this shit. I'm looking, I'm like, man, that's awesome. Like, I always loved that. Like, ever since I was little, I remember that, right? Mm-hmm. I asked myself, what went wrong? Like, how did I go from that to, I just can't stand it. You understand? So, I'm trying to figure out what's happening.
There was a trauma in there. Same thing with me. I still have my writer's block because of that trauma. That's why I'm writing, just trying to get over all my school traumas. I mean, we don't even. That's the thing. It's like you don't even know
I remember my
what
dad,
caused
my
it.
dad, I was only in third grade. I had just second or third grade. He already teaching me like algebra, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't. He beat the shit out of me, man. I couldn't get it. He kept asking, and I couldn't. It didn't make any sense to me. I didn't understand it, and I remember he beat my ass.
All right.
And then when I'm back with him, even up to the Mom Tompkin, I really love school every day. It's because I had a good environment, I had a good family, good school, you know, and I would get straight A's. I loved going to school. You know, she makes sure I always have a choice, always think, she always does it like, hey, do you want this for dinner or you want this for dinner? Do you want to go outside or do you want to, you know, like that. It's always this or this, this or this, this or this. And she makes me think. By doing that way, she makes me think, you know. But when I was back with my dad, it's like, I think out of fears, you know, he didn't know how to, you know, I get it, you know, he didn't have anybody to help him. I mean, you know, living in an apartment, the condition that we were in, you know, he's like, okay, now I'm here, you know, I gotta make this, you know, I gotta make this work. So he's hard on me on school, but he always is like that, and because, you know, he's proud that he worked so hard to become a teacher, right? And so it's like I cannot have a son that is not of school. You know what I mean? That it's like he's so hard on it to the point where I feel like he doesn't love me. Like those things are more important to him. You know, it's like I don't get it. And everything I do to prove, like, I hated to go to summer school. I didn't want to go to summer school, but it's like, I have to go fucking summer school. It's like...
It's never enough. It's never enough. Yeah.
And great was what? Great was the fault of it. You see this? I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying...
You wouldn't do it that way.
Anyway, who am I to say I'm not doing any better?
It's just everybody, we don't appreciate that everybody's brain is different. I mean, how many shoe sizes are there? You know what I mean? It's like, our brain is the same way. Everybody's unique. We just have to appreciate the uniqueness of each other instead of trying to make everybody same shoe size. You know? That's what I grew up with. I'm so sick of that. It's like, I have to be this way. I have to be that way. Well, I don't even know who I am anymore after a while. I'm just trying to be that thing. Well, I don't mind if I liked being that thing, but it's like I don't even get time to explore or choose or decide. It's like, what do you want to be for the rest of your life? I don't know. I haven't lived yet.
I don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
I know. Anyways,
all I know is I don't want to be lonely. I want
right?
somebody who listen and respect and who care and who loves me.
Money ain't gonna get me that.
At least at the most basic things, and I'm deprived of that, right? And I felt like I can't even focus. It's always look, man. How do you focus? For the very thing you need is love, right? And you look around you, your friend. Everybody have a girlfriend. Everybody have somebody to care for, you know. And here you are, like, what the fuck is wrong with me? negative shit, man. Like my mother, you know what I mean? Oh, you don't go to school and you won't be cleaning, toilet as a job. How degrading that is.
I'm sorry, I can't respect that. That makes me, like, should I, like, both our parents are blue collar, or like, you know what I mean? That's the kind of job. Does that mean I shouldn't respect you for what you're doing for me then? You know what I mean? I don't understand that.
I don't, and then the fucked up thing about it is like, every time they see somebody who just made it, like every time they see other parent, their kids are older, you know what I mean, and they graduate, and they graduate with a, with a degree or something like that. Here we go again, and poster board again. Man, you see this? See?
Always being compared. I hate being compared.
And you know what's the difference? With Mom Tompkins is like the opposite. Mom Tompkins is like, don't worry about. Mom Tompkins is like, man, do you like it? Do you want to do it?
Yeah, she was cool. Like, I really liked.
You know what I mean? Like
she helped me a lot.
It's like the opposite. It's like she motivated me to think on your head, like. You know what I mean? Like that. Mm-hmm. But with him, it's like, it's my way or nothing. Or my way or except everything else is stupid.
Yep. That's my mother. And my father.
I don't know. It's
like I work on my life. And then it's like, I don't even get to choose what college I get to go to. It's already decided. Like, why did I even bother applying to all these places? Like, it's stupid. Oh no, she's staying right here. Oh, okay. Why did I get all this SAT and all these AP? What? I can't. What? I don't understand. I give up. I don't understand. I give up. I did research. I told him genetics is going to be the future. That's what I should be getting into. I really like it. And he refused. He's like, no, you're doing engineering. Oh, God. I'm like, Dad, I'm seeing all these engineers. Like, I went to Shadowburger. I actually went to the field, and I actually met real working engineers, Dad. And they're telling me, it's not what I want. I don't want, and they don't even care my reasons for why I don't want to. Like, no, you're just going to do it. Okay. I was about to, and then it was like, what, 5-10 years later, we're eating. He's looking at a newspaper. It's like, oh, look at this article. Look, genetics are the future. I was about to strangle something. Just something. Either that or strangle someone.
I'm telling you, it's almost like a disease or something. Like Uncle Roger, the same thing. We
and I get no credit.
What the?
It's almost like I never mentioned it.
And then she go around and say, oh, you should get Wyndham. I'm like,
I told you, and you coming back and telling me like I'm stupid and I need to listen to you. When I was the one who just told you, and you give me no credit. I was so excited. I love this place. I showed my uncle. I want to be close to them. I want to build a bridge, and they used to smack me over the head with it. I'm like, what is this? I leave it alone, dude. I leave it alone.
No, now look at it this way. Now the great news is now we know who we are.
Right. I can only.
We know who we are, and the circle is small.
Yep. I lift it up to God. That's the only way I deal with it, because I can't do nothing. He loves them more than I do, and He understands them more than I do. So I just leave it at that, and I trust Him. He said that's good enough. That's good enough for me. It's the only thing that helped me, because
I let all go, babe.
Yep. Hey. He loves them more than I do, so it's all good. Let it be. While Pilate heard this account, he was afraid, and commanding silence among the people who made a noise, he said to Jesus, "Art thou therefore a king?" All the Jews replied to Pilate, He is the very person whom Herod sought to have slain. Wait, Pilate said, "Art you therefore a king?" He asked Jesus directly, right in front of everybody, after silencing all of them. In which the Jew replied to to Pilate. So before Jesus could answer, the Jews interrupt and tell Pilate that Jesus is the very person whom Herod sought to slay. Then Pilate, taking water, he gave up. He said, "You know what? I can't." Okay. What was he thinking, honey? He took water, washed his hands before the people, and said, "I am innocent of the blood of this just person. This is providence. Look ye to it." All right, go see that's done. And Jews answered and said, so Jesus never got to answer, "His blood be upon us and our children." All right, there you go. Then Pilate commanded Jesus to be brought before him and spake to him in the following words: "Thy own nation hath charged thee as making thyself a king. Wherefore I, Pilate, sentence thee to be whipped according to the laws of former governors, and that thou be first bound, then hanged upon a cross in that place where thou art now a prisoner. And also 2 criminals with thee, whose names are Demas and Gestus." Wow. He know. If you had read it, you would have known it was talking about me. And he saw it. The Roman Pilate saw it. Pilate like, hello.
I ain't gonna get Pilate. Yeah, but I say he broke it.
Because we never heard the part where he schooled them on their own law. Moses, hello.
He did, like I told you. He
right?
did.
So he's like me, where he would see that. And then it's like I always said, prophecy is only good when you're experiencing it. Even though you read it at halftime, you have no idea what to look for. You only recognize it. It's not for you to change time or try to change the future. You can't, all right? It's not. That's not what that is. It's completely not that. All these time warp movies we be watching, throw it out the window, all right? Look, listen. All right, so, what was I saying?
Throw it out the window.
But what am I keeping? What am I saying? Alright guys, was that an awesome episode or what? You have just been listening to the first part of the Gospel of Nicodemus, aka Acts of Pontius Pilate. We will be continuing this, so be sure to come back for part 2 of the Gospel of Nicodemus and the Acts of Pontius Pilate. Thank you and God bless. Thank you so much for listening to Divine Radio. Today has been our first ever premiere of our channel, and we would like you to listen some more if you like. We're going to be doing a lot more of these readings and just growing together. Thank you, and see you next time.